Oh, hey guys, I didn't notice you were still in here. I was just about to close up for the night. You guys need any help or anything like that? You wanna learn more about the changes of consumer behavior? Yeah, sure, I can teach you that. Come here. Follow me to my desk.
Hey guys, I hope you didn't mind that little sketch. My name is Joshua Jacobs. I'm a 5th year graduating senior here at West Virginia Wesleyan College. And today we're going to be talking about the change to human behavior. Now basically what the change to human behavior is the idea of how we are able to change a person's mind, or how to change a person's ideas to basically reflect our own, or be able to manipulate them or change it to a way that we want them to think. And this is, and we're going to be using this with the idea of changing, and we're going to be using this in a lot of form of business ideas, mainly talking about with examples of Harley Davidson, which is going to be one of the companies I'm going to use throughout this entire video to help you better understand the different ideas and changes of how to change a person's behavior. Now, I'm going to go over a little bit of a short context of this. We're going to be talking about first I'm going to give you the idea of what Harley Davidson actually is, just to give you a better understanding of what they are and what they do, to just, help you clarify why that relates to how to change a person's behavior. We're also going to be talking about the definition of behavior change. We're also going to be talking about discuss the rules of behavior. We're also going to be talking about collectivism and the motivations to behavior, or also known as the monkey see, monkey do. And we're going to finish off with brand personality. Now, to start us off, we're going to be talking a little bit about Harley Davidson. Now, Harley Davidson is a heavy motorcycle company, mainly focuses on American-made heavy motorcycles. And for people who don't really know, it's those people that you usually see on the roads making loud noises or wearing some very large amounts of heavy leather to show off at what they are. As somebody who rides motorcycles themselves, I can just tell you for a fact that I tend to be wearing a lot of leather. Now, Harley Davidson was founded in 1903 by William S. Harley and brothers Arthur and Walter Davidson in Wisconsin, Milwaukee. The company's been known to produce traditional cruisers, and later in the years the heavyweight bikes that you see today, making most of its sales during both World Wars. So it's been known to make a name for itself in the early 1900s, and it's the reason why you see them being successful as they are today. Now they have shown a little bit of trouble over the years. They have lost about $4.58 billion in the last 4 years, but that's mainly because of the change in demographics and the tariffs that are going on throughout the overseas. It's also one of the few companies that we see today that has actually survived during the Great Depression, which is really impressive to do, because many of the companies during that time have usually gone out of business or have struggled throughout the remaining of their years. Harley Davidson tends to focus on between a mix of their stakeholders' interests, but also maintain a relationship with their customers, using the motto "All for freedom and freedom for all." To give you a clear verification of what they are about, I'm going to read you about a little bit of their mission statement. What their mission statement is: we fulfill dreams through the experiences of motorcycling and providing the motorcyclist to the general public, and expanding the line of motorcycles and the branded products of heavy services in selected market segments, which shows the company's relationship and the customers, and why it tends to show the motto, all for freedom and freedom for all. Moving on, I'm going to give you a little bit of a small quote that is made from one of the greatest philosophers in ancient times, Confucius. When it's obvious that the goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals, adjust the actions. Now, to many of you wondering what does the Chinese philosopher Confucius have to do with the way people think or how they change behavior? Well, now people are going to be wondering, what does Confucius have to do with the way people think and how they change their behavior? Well, it actually has to do with a lot with the way people change behavior to change. As Confucius was talking about how you really don't need to change your goals. Your goals are going to be the same way, no matter your end goal is going to be the same, but the way you get to your goal has to change. So the way your actions are has to change, and that's what Confucius is basically talking about. It is said that we cannot change people's minds, mainly because once they have their minds on something, it is hard to change it, or maybe it's considered rude to change someone's behavior. That is true to a state. That is true basically to a state. Let me explain. We cannot change someone's behavior. However, we can change someone's behavior to a certain degree in a way that will make them think about it. By carefully defining what you want to change, that can lead you to your success. And that's basically what Confucius is talking about. You want to change the way your actions on the way to your end goal. Behavior can be changed, but before you start nitpicking, you have to understand what you really want to change, and what you want someone to change to. In short, they can change their behavior if they are motivated to do so. The old saying goes, "You cannot make a horse drink water if the horse does not want to." And that is describing a person's behavior when we try to force something. We try to force something upon them that they have no motivation to do so. That's basically saying, like, in real life standards, you want to change somebody's religion in the ancient times, but it's hard to do so when they already have their mind set on something and they have no motivation to change their religion. And basically, if they don't want to do these changes, in the end, they're most likely not even going to try to do so. Second, the task needs to be easy. If a person is not motivated and the task is not simple to do, then they'll most likely not want to do it no matter what you tell them. In order for a person to be interested in doing something or be able to change their behavior, then they need the task to be easy. An example of this would be in the case of the mother asking their child to open their mouth to receive some ice cream. Chances are the child's most likely going to open their mouth to receive the ice cream because the motivation is they'll receive a tasty treat, and the task is basically easy to do so because all they really have to do is open their mouth. On the other hand, looking at a different scenario, if that mother were to ask that child to take out the trash, they would not do it because it involved doing a chore, and even if the task is somewhat simple, they would not be motivated to do so because you're asking them to do a physical activity. That's something they do not really want to do. And to be honest, what kid really wants to go outside out on the cold winter nights right now and take out the trash? So in order for this to work, they both need to be motivated, and the task needs to be simple in order for their goal to be played. So putting this in the company's perspective, if I were to tell someone who has an interest in vehicles that they could experience a thrill and excitement of riding a brand new Harley, and all they have to do is pay a simple fee for the bike, they might be able to look into it since they are motivated due to their personal hobbies of vehicles, and all they really have to do is just pay a simple fine. This is how Daniel Kahneman described it using the KISS approach. What is the KISS approach, you ask you? It's very simple. Keep it simple, stupid. All right. Now we're going to be talking about the rules of behavior. There's three major rules when it comes. There's going to be three major rules when it comes to working on the changing a person's behavior. Rule number one: make the person motivated and make the change easy to do. With the KISS method, the way you tell something about the change can make the person change their behavior. So basically, put the charm on them and go get them. But however, there are other ways that will get the person motivated to do what you want to do, and that is individual incentives. What it is that will make them go out and do the change that you want to do. With a lot of companies out there in the world, like Harley, they tend to focus on your emotional state. By telling you about the possibilities about being in a Harley owners group, also known as hogs, and going out and being friends on something that you all like to do. So basically what businesses like to do, especially with Harley, is that since they tend to focus on your emotional state, they want to focus on things that will get you motivated enough to actually do that change. And incentives like going out with your friends, hanging out with people, experiencing new things, the thrill of the open world, stuff like that will tend to make a person motivated. And that's basically what individual incentives basically mean, is what do they get out of it. Rule 2, change the behavior. Basically, change the behavior that will help you and your goal. In short, give them a sample. Show people how others enjoy the product, or at least give them a test for themselves. It is the reason why you see a lot of companies show commercials of people having fun, or why you see other companies giving away free samples at local restaurants or food marts. Those companies want you to do is possibly buy the product or service by giving you a small taste. or of what, or basically of what they can do to show you why they are able to give you, why they should give you these products. In Harley Davidson and other companies around the world that can work to the automotive industry, when working on giving you a sample, they tend to give you what is known as test drive to make you show you how the vehicle is or how the bike is in order to get you to buy that product faster. Basically giving you a feel of how you look on that bike. Finally, we move on to rule 3. Action changes attitudes faster than attitudes change actions. It goes to show you that if you're enjoying something more, you will change a person. There was a study made by separating 2 groups on doing an activity. One group was given $1 for their efforts, and the other group was given $20. When you look at the group that was given the $20, it showed that they were a lot more happier, and enjoyed the activity a lot more, while the other group did not. Some were showing that they lied about enjoying the activity, mainly because of the fact they were given $1, versus the other group that was given a $20 because they were, 1, they enjoyed the activity, and 2, they got something humongous out of it, which was basically $20. This goes back to what was discussed earlier about how an incentive or an action in this case was a $20 bill can change people and their views on something. Next, we're going to be talking about a different quote made by the U.S. anthropologist Lauren Isley. Like herds and animals we are, we sniff warily at the strange one among us. Now, basically, what he's talking about is what Lauren Isley was talking about is basically how we are kind of like animals. We tend to sniff out the person that is different from us. We tend to look for the person that is weaker against us, where it could be looking different, acting different, smelling different. Whatever it is, we tend to look at that one person and see them as an outsider. This gives you idea of motion to behavior and collectivism. The 2 types of ideas when it comes to motivation to behavior is the individualism and collectivism. Individualism is the idea that a person has the freedom or action and is able to use that freedom to think of things for themselves. In short, what that means is if a person likes something, it is not because he likes to do other things. It is not because he looks to others on why he likes them. It's because he's thought of doing things himself and has the freedom to like or dislike something of his own choice. There was no really outside involvement to it, so he doesn't really look towards friends, he doesn't really look towards family, he doesn't really look towards society and what they view. It's his own viewpoint that makes him believe that why he likes something or dislikes something. In a society that we live in today, everyone tends to need or react to something based on the group's involvement. It is understandable that we as a people in the world of collectivism, basically collectivism plays into our daily lives. Collectivism is the idea that is opposite to individualism, where instead of having the freedom to think for yourself and choose ideas on your own free will, you will most likely make the decision based on what others think. Basically what that means is, since it's the opposite of individualism, collectivism tends to look at other people. So you want to look towards your friends, your family, social media, what political statements have to say, and you look towards them to make your viewpoints. You don't really have the more freedom of like individual does to make these decisions. You tend to just follow the herd. Well, as I was stating before, you'll most likely make your decision based on what others that influence you think. As you grow up, you're pretty much taught to think, in other words, a sheep following blindly to the slaughter. What others say or do because you want to. So basically, what you will do what others say, or you will do what others say or act because what others do, mainly because you want to stay inside their circle, you want to stay inside their good graces. You will see in many stages of your life, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us has gone through this in the past, that when you were still a child in school, acting differently from what you normally think tend to be what they see as social norm. You want to look cool, so basically you would do things that you were not normally doing in order to stay in other people's good graces. Or basically another example, or following famous celebrities on what they think because everyone follows the trend of basically following that specific person. What will happen if you were to break that social norm of that idea that everyone else thinks? that is considered a social norm, and since what Lauren Isley was talking about is we are basically like animals in a short sense, where we tend to sniff out the weak and exclude them from the herd. And basically we keep them from hanging around us because we don't want to be affiliated with them because they have different viewpoints than us. That is something, and since that is something that many people growing up today tends to fear, is being excluded from a group or society. It is the reason why some people always tend to change their attitudes based on what other people think, and why people sometimes are afraid to change back to what they usually are. They tend to do it in closed spaces because they don't want others to see them in public going on to what they think, and fearing that they might get a negative reaction for that, which is the reason why you see a lot of people changing their behaviors based on what society thinks. And collectivism is probably one of the most powerful tools an advertiser can use. By making it appear that if everyone is using that product or service can get others, and if you do, can get others to basically use it, and if you do not basically enjoy or follow that trend as well, you could probably face exclusion. There are basically four types of building blocks that form from collectivism. That is obedience, there's conformity, action, and purpose. Finally, we're going to be talking about brand personality. Brand personality is the set of traits people attribute to a product as they see it as a real person. When you look at Harley Davidson's brand, you may view the company's many demographics or the company's brand or logo as, when you see it in real life, you tend to think about a tough older man with a thick gray beard, a big fat belly, and wearing lots and lots of heavy leather. This could be your own little version of Hell's Angels. This is something that Harley and other companies tend to go for, as it helps portray to their clients and helps people easily recognize their products after seeing an ad. It is the reason why you see so many images like the Kool-Aid Man bursting through a wall, or the Energizer Bunny beating his drums in the commercials, as it's something that people can easily recognize when they're going shopping. So when they go shopping, and that image of that mascot that they see in the brand's advertisement is the first thing that pops in their head. Basically, when they go out shopping and see the brands. Thank you everybody thank you guys for listening to my report. I hope you guys have a wonderful time. I'm Josh Jacobs. Have a good one.